Hello YouTube, this is Francis from RageQuitGGN bringing you a deck profile of post set 3 Nova grapplers. I noticed there's not a lot of videos on YouTube talking about Nova grapplers, especially post set 3. So here I am making a video and hopefully you enjoy it. Let's get right into it with our starting Vanguard, the White Tiger. He is probably the only choice Nova grappler has right now. And you know what? It's not bad. Call it behind your Vanguard because your Vanguard is most likely going to be Ashura Kaiser. Hitting for 16 is good. There's nothing that can hit over 20 in Nova grapplers except for Cosmo Lord and Brutal Jack. So hitting for 16 is the exact same thing as hitting for 19 in a world without crossride, which is the English meta. So White Tiger, not too bad. Free booster, and if it hits and you have a Azure Dragon as your rear guard, you can put into Soul and stand him. So pretty good effect, and it's optional, so you don't have to do it. So if you already checked the grade 3, you don't have to do it. But if you didn't, go ahead, stand that Azure Dragon. Anyways, for the trigger lineup, 4 criticals, another 4 criticals, so 8 crits. 4 heals, and to your surprise, well, maybe your surprise, 4 draws. I don't run any stand triggers, although it's a Nova grappler, and the reason is I think stand triggers are not good. Like, not just in the deck, but they are not good. I will probably do a trigger video sometime soon, and I'll link it somewhere here, I don't know. But basically, I think crit triggers crit triggers bring a lot more, and draw triggers bring a lot more as well. I'll explain that in the future, but that is my lineup. And honestly, your grade 3s are your stand triggers in this deck, so you don't really need stand triggers. Anyways, for Ashura Kaisers, oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. For Ashura Kaisers, best card in Nova Grappler, without a doubt. At least the best Vanguard. And then as a backup plan, we have 3 Azure Dragons. I run 4 because I don't have a 4th one, and I really like these 2 guys, the Cosmo Lords. This is the grade 3 lineup, 9 cards. Cosmo Lord is fun for finishing if you know they don't have a perfect guard in their hand. You basically use this effect, rest to get 3k, retired that guy to call someone else. So you can almost think of him as discard a card for 3k, an extra 3k. And Azure Dragon is 11, which is a really good base power for a Vanguard. So that's self-explanatory. I don't like 10. It clogs up your hand, and once they see that you call the full row of grade 3s, they're just gonna start whacking on your Vanguard because you clogged your own field. Okay, 4 Death Army ladies. Sometimes I run 3. I change between 3 and 4 because it's kind of redundant. If you have 4 Death Army guys, which is better than Army Lady. I'll explain at the end of the video. But yeah, I only run 4. 3 is enough though. Kirara, my personal favorite in the deck, provides a lot of pressure. If they guard it, cool. You just bursted like 10k shield out of their hand, assuming you didn't get a trigger. And if they don't guard it, counterblast 2, draw 1, you still win. So it's a win-win situation whenever you attack with Kirara. And 9k, like I said before, no one can hit over 20k. So 9k boosted by even the weakest guy in the deck, which is 7k, is enough. 16, always going to burst a 10k shield. And finally, Brutal Jack, 11k grade 2, self-explanatory. 11k again is the awesome number. And one thing to note though, if Brutal Jack is the only grade 2 in your hand, and you went first, yes, you went first, and don't guard their grade 1 attack, please, because if you guard it and you have no damage when you ride Brutal Jack, you're not going to be able to attack with your Vanguard. So yeah, just be careful of that. And then finally, we have our grade 1 lineup. 3 Tough Boys. Sometimes I bump it up to 4 by taking out a Clay Doll or by taking out a Death Army Lady, because I actually think after playtesting that 12 grade 2s is too much because your main beaters will be your grade 3s. So I'm considering bumping it up to 4 because, well, what can I say? AK Vanilla is great for rushing. Then for Death Army guys, one of the best cards in the deck, basically turns every grade 3 in your deck into stand triggers, so you will have a whopping total of 24 triggers, assuming you don't draw any grade 3s except for your Assured Kaiser and you don't draw any triggers. So that's pretty incredible. And because of Assured Kaiser's effect, you can just stand the guy in front of him, and that will be good enough. For critical mechanics, please leave a comment if you know of a better grade 1 in the English meta that I can run, because I'm only running him because the only other option is Shout, and frankly I don't understand why Shout is run by so many people. So also, if you know, if you can explain to me why Shout is so good in the comment box below, that would be great. And 3 perfect guards, which seems weird since I run 9 grade 3s, but this deck really needs to rush, so running 4 perfect guards really clogs up your hand and not let you rush. So having the grade 3s is not too bad. Oh, maybe that's why Shout is good, because you can discard, but you have to rest it, so I don't really understand. Anyways, as promised, I want to talk about the reason why, actually I forgot to mention it, but the attacking order of Nova Grapplers, which kind of confuses a lot of people. Now, a lot of people, I would say most Grappler players, I'm just taking this as an example. Don't be offended if you're a Grappler player. Anyways, think this is the best setup, because basically it's pretty self-explanatory. Attack, 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 check a grade 3, stand everyone. Oh, that's OP. That's really good. You get 5 attacks. However, I really hate attacking like that, because when you attack with your Vanguard and they perfect guard it, they can if they perfect guard this and you check into 2 triggers, that is absolutely devastating. And you pretty much, especially if your first check was a trigger and you're like, oh, well, that sucked, I'll put it here, and then you check another one, it's another crit, you're like, oh, I just wasted 2 crit triggers because I attacked in a really ballsy order. Now, let's reconsider the situation, and let's say you attack with Azure Dragon first, and then you attack with Kaiser. In this situation, if you check a grade 3, okay, that's great. You kind of missed out on 1 attack. However, you have the benefit of knowing if you check if they block this, either perfect guard or 2 trigger block this, you can put the triggers you check on Death Army Lady and it won't be wasted. And if you get a grade 3 on the second check, great. If you don't, whatever. You got the power. You got the extra power. That's a plus. Remember, every trigger only counts as a benefit if you put it somewhere effective. So that's why I don't like that. And on that topic, I want to let you know that you don't. Oh, whoops, that's retarded. I actually don't like putting Death Armies in the same row, because it absolutely wastes Assured Kaiser's effect. Well, assuming you're attacking in the rear Vanguard rear order. Because if you attack with this and then Kaiser checks a grade 3, you stand in column anyways. So yeah, it's kind of a waste. So yeah, that's why Death Army guy is much better, because Death Army Lady actually attracts a lot of fire, because when you call this column right here, your opponent, I can 100% guarantee your opponent will attack Death Army Lady, in which case you can just let her die and laugh in their faces as you call a Kerara and have do the exact same thing. Okay? But yeah, anyways, that's the thing that a lot of people do, like rear Vanguard. It's not good. Unless it's early game and they won't guard your Vanguard attack, in which case that's acceptable, because you can possibly sack in a lot of damage, because you can just put the trigger someone else, and even if it's not, you don't check something, your Vanguard still hit. Anyways, so that's the deck profile. Please leave me any questions if you have any questions for me, and please rate, comment, and subscribe.